With so much going on in our country and in our world these days, I wanted to bring you some positivity and some brightness today. I'm on the board of an organization called Pacem in Terris, which means peace on earth. And we have an arts program where we invite children and teenagers from all over Delaware to imagine a peaceful world, to imagine what peace means to them, and then to create art that represents their idea of peace. This year, we received artwork from more than 500 artists between the ages of 5 and 18, and we displayed that in January at the Wilmington Library. And from that exhibit, a jury selected 68 images that are now traveling around the state of Delaware to hospitals, courthouses, libraries, and other buildings all year long. And I'm going to share with you some of these images, but you can also go online to Delaware Pacem in Terris website and find where you can go check out more of the work. Most of the images include an artist statement. Hafsa from Terbiya School wrote, "Unity in every color, peace in every arc." Bentley, an artist from Tally Middle School, writes, "My vision of peace is a world where everyone is accepting of every race and religion and all the LGBTQ people. In my peace drawing, I drew multiple shaded hands holding the earth with peace on the earth." Ye from Frame Community Center's Boys and Girls Club wrote, "Peace means to me that we all live in harmony." And I don't know if you can see that it looks like the artist has drawn people, maybe holding hands all around the outside of this enormous heart. Imagine all of us connected to a love that big. Kaylee from Tally Middle School writes, "I drew hands spelling out love and different flags. I did that because it doesn't matter where you are from or what you look like. And that's what I find peaceful." Imagine it. Diplomacy rooted in love. I hope one day Kaylee runs for Secretary of State. By using human hands to conceptualize world peace, these artists remind us that peace is not some abstract concept, but it's simply the daily work of the people. Caitlin from Tatnall School writes, "In this painting, I chose to represent my vision of peace, a peaceful world, through birds. My idea is that if we decided to celebrate and accept others' differences instead of villainizing them, the world would be better, a more peaceful place. I chose these particular birds because I wanted to show that even if two people don't look alike or come from the same place, they can still choose to embrace their differences and be friends." Despite the current administration's dismantling of diversity, equity, and inclusion commitments, over and over again, these artists, these young artists, communicate that the path to peace is only found through celebrating our diversity and working toward equity and practicing inclusion. Kenyon, Julian, and Nicholas from Kumba Academy wrote, "This is how we envision a peaceful world. We put flags around the earth. We painted the earth green and blue and cut it out. We made space with stars. Julian made the flags, Kenyon made the earth, and Nicholas made space. Now all the flags show that the earth is big enough for everyone and all nations should get along." Not only did these three collaborate on this message of collaboration and sharing, they recognized one another's specific contributions. Do you want to sit down there so you can see the picture? Okay. Avery from Urban Promise writes, "Peace looks like me knowing that I'm in a safe spot. A peaceful world is God and me talking. Jesus creates peace in my life by letting me be here in the peaceful world." Avery reminds us that we also need peace within ourselves. At the free food program where I volunteer, there's a woman who comes in every week for food. And whenever I ask her how she's doing, she always says, "I'm too blessed to be stressed." And it doesn't matter what her finances are like, or that she's been standing out in the rain waiting for the line to move. She's always too blessed to be stressed. And like this artist, she draws her focus on the simple blessing of just being alive, being in this beautiful world, and in so doing embodies a sense of peace that spreads to those around her. Avery, too, tells us that in talking with God, Avery finds peace. I wonder how your beliefs create peace in your life, especially when you need it the most. Rick Rubin wrote a book called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. Rubin is the co-founder of Def Jam Records, and he's something of a legend in the music industry, having produced the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Imagine Dragons, Ed Sheeran, Lady Gaga, and on and on. And he is a practicing Buddhist, grew up in a Jewish family, and he describes the creative process as a devotional act. And he says that all of us are capable of that devotional act. He says that when we create art or create music, it isn't just coming from us, but that we are vessels channeling a source. And I like to think of these young artists engaged in devotional acts when they're making their work. They are perhaps mystics, people transcending the mundane, tapping into visions that come from some higher wisdom, with insight into a deep sense of the holy. I see them too as prophets, going against the hateful voices and harmful rhetoric of this time, creating bold and clear images and words that lead us toward our highest selves, toward our best visions of peace in our communities and in our world. Serla from Cab Calloway reminds us that we also need peace in our close relationships. Serla writes, "I believe peace is between humans when they laugh and when they feel proud, when they help and when they believe in each other. You can feel when a human is happy, and most people enjoy this feeling. When humans don't exclude and decide to have peace in their area, it feels so nice. I enjoy it when I'm in a peaceful place." I wonder how you nurture peace in your relationships with family, friends, neighbors. Perry from Tatnall School says, "I chose many peace signs because we need a lot of peace in the world." There's too much war in this world, so we need a lot of peace. Now, although other artists use peace signs as well, I especially love Perry's use of it. It looks as though something was happening underneath all those peace signs. In my mind, I make up that the artist had started a particular way, but it wasn't going very well. But rather than trash the whole thing and start over, they started covering it up with peace signs, which with all those peace signs and all that different color paint probably took a lot of time. And now to me, every one of those peace signs looks like a mantra that I like to believe, by Perry's commitment and repetition, transformed a frustrated artist, unsure how to communicate their ideas, into a peaceful artist with a clear message. No matter what's going on underneath, they stayed committed to their intention for peace. And Rick Rubin says that intention is a big part of the creative process that distinguishes something from just kind of being doodles on a page to being this devotional act. When my friend Scotty was alive, she had a practice that was called praying in color. And she would just take a small index card, and she had, I swear, 1 million markers of all different colors, and she would just write someone's name in bubble letters, and she would color it in, kind of design in it and around it. And the whole time, she would be holding that person in love. She'd be just kind of sending them good energy, praying for them. And I always knew when Scotty was praying for me because I would get a card in the mail with my name on it. And what made it so meaningful was the intention that she put into that. It didn't matter how it looked, it's the intention. There was power in those prayers. This piece is called Peace Worldwide by Aaliyah from Maple Lane Elementary School. And I love that this elementary school-aged artist drew our attention toward the entire world. Peace for everyone and everything on earth, peace for our sun and our moon and our stars, peace for all the planets. Aaliyah reminds us that the world cannot smile if we are overburdening it with our lifestyles of greed and excessive use. Our earth cannot smile if people are hungry or unhoused, or abruptly deported for political gain, or if power becomes more important than people. I wonder what we could do to make our planet smile a little more. Aaliyah, this elementary school student, also reminds us that you don't have to have an art degree or years and years of practice to participate in a devotional act. And Reuben says that a beginner's mind is actually really important for this work. He says, as children, we experience less interference from receiving ideas and internalizing them. We accept new information with delight instead of making comparisons to what we already believe. We live in the moment rather than worrying about the future consequences. We're spontaneous as children more than analytical. We're curious, not jaded. Even the most ordinary experiences in life are met with a sense of awe. And with children, deep sadness and intense excitement can come within moments of each other. There's no facade, no attachment to a story. And when we adults come at challenges with worry and judgment and jadedness, we might tell ourselves that any small act to fix the big problems of the world is a waste of time. And we get stuck in these spirals of despair and apathy. But when we embody a sense of unknowing, an innocence, a curiosity, we might uncover new, innovative ways of overcoming our hardest challenges. I mean, what opportunities are all around us that we are failing to notice? Wesley from the Choir School of Delaware says, "My painting shows peace through friendship. These friends are enjoying their time." And I see in this image a slowing down. Two friends sitting together outside, not looking at their devices, just being present with one another, sitting as if they have all the time in the world. And I know I don't do that enough. I get in the habit of just texting people or emailing, relying on social media sound bites to connect. Sometimes I'm physically present with someone, but my mind is elsewhere, or I'm constantly distracted by my phone. And when we do this, we miss, as Reuben says, the subtleties. We aren't able to take in the information in the most faithful way possible, which is to say, we're not bringing our best self to those conversations. This artist reminds me that I want to bring my best self to more of my interactions with others. Lanaya from Kumbha Academy writes, "What my picture is about is our earth, and all the stuff around it represents all the kind of stuff that should happen to make a peaceful world, like love, peace, people being nice and kind. Also, the techniques I used are outlining and then coloring inside the outline." This artist just breaks it down for us. Look, here's how we get to world peace. Be kind, be nice. And here's how I made my piece. I drew an outline and then I colored it in. I almost hear an invitation from this artist for all of us to make our own art. It doesn't have to be difficult. Draw an outline, color it in. Reuben says that the devotional act also requires vulnerability. And I'm going to practice a little vulnerability and share a piece that I made years ago when I took a collage class in seminary. And in this class, there were tables of cutout images all over the room. And we were invited to notice what images drew our attention, even if we didn't know why, and take them back to our workspace and listen to the wisdom that those pictures had for us in that moment. And I found this image of a young girl holding a pair of chopsticks to her mouth. And I am multiracial. My dad was Chinese from Hawaii, and my mom is European American with long roots in Delaware and Pennsylvania. And when I was growing up in North Wilmington back in the 1980s, I didn't really see images that looked like me. And that time in my white private elementary and middle school was an unwelcoming place for racial difference. And I learned to experience shame around my Chinese identity. And so years later, in this collage class, I spent a lot of time with this young Asian girl while I confronted my own shame. I chose to cut her out of her background, and then I took another piece that I had brought back to the table, a heavy cardstock that was this like shiny metallic gold. And without much thinking or planning or conceptualizing, I cut it into a circle. And I placed it behind her head, and it became her gold halo, like something Jesus would have, or a saint, or someone holy, or someone important and good. And that simple devotional act healed 100 hurts in my heart. And just in the making of it, led me a little closer to peace. I wonder how you would draw peace. What could peace in your heart and mind look like? What could peace in your relationships look like? What could a peaceful world look like? And you might use pencils or markers or crayons or clay or collage. If making art doesn't feel good to you, your devotional act might be music or writing or conversation or daydreaming. The method of the creative act is so not the point. The point is to carve out time to draw your imagination toward peace, to bring a sense of intention to your work. Don't let yourself get distracted. Bring your beginner mind, your childlike wonder. Set aside those adult worries, those adult judgments, and bring patience and vulnerability and love for the world. Many of my very favorite artists are mystics and prophets. We've seen some of their work today. And I tell you, there's never been a better time to engage in this mystical and prophetic work. May it be so.